right, so we are not doing 12.1 today. I know I told you we are going to do M&Ms today, but I didn't buy them because my wife said she was going to buy them, and then she didn't buy them, and so now I got to go buy them. I told her that today when I saw her, so I'm like, I was going to do the M&M thing today, but they weren't any here last night, and she just got like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Bitch, I said, well, you should be. No, I didn't say anything like that. I said, that's okay, I'll pick them up myself. So instead of doing 12.1, we already did 12.2. We only have two sections left, 12.1 and 13.1. So we're jumping ahead to 13.1. 13.1 is on the ANOVA one-way test. ANOVA stands for Analysis of Variance. ANOVA. Now there's more than one way to do it. We're going to do the one-way test. Variance, this is a question about variance. So what it does is we are checking what is variance first off. As a reminder, variance is standard deviation squared. We haven't had to do a whole lot with it this semester. So the analysis of variance one-way test, the ANOVA test, it tests the equality of three or more sample means. And so we have some requirements, but let's say there's K groups. There are K populations. K populations, one sample from each. I'm going to put a star on this because this is actually our first requirement. This is required. We'll have more requirements in a second. If we do, H naught will be mu1 equals mu2 equals mu3 equals ... mu k. So it's testing to see that they're all equal or close enough to be that they could be equal. HA is at least one mean is different. Okay. How do we get to it? What do we do? StatCrunch. You're going to go stats, ANOVA, one way. StatCrunch requirements it requires one column of data for each group. So there's no summary option. That's important to know. Is ready for some more?
StatCrunch directions.
Okay.
See that the leader of China to California today in San Fran.
Why?
I don't know. All I know is that they actually ended up cleaning up the streets because the person was kind of
Like, what do you mean by clean up the streets?
so like they did a side by side plan of the exact same streets of San Fran before and after he was coming, and before there was homeless, trash. Like,
So not just trash, but
needles on
cleaned
the
out that
ground.
homeless
Like,
population, okay.
basically everything, like they cleaned up the streets, like literally. It was tent cities pretty much.
Right.
On the sidewalks and stuff. And after they basically like pressure washed all the sidewalks, got all the homeless out, cleaned up all the trash. Like it looks like a brand new city pretty much. Like it looks nothing like it did before.
Huh. That is pretty interesting.
It's almost like they could have done that the whole time.
Right? You're like, what's going on here? What's taking so long?
Yeah, so we could have done that before, all of a sudden. I don't know. I don't know why the leader of China came, but he did to San Fran. Kind of weird. They throughout the whole rally, you can see like Mexican flags, the flag of China, the flag of other Asian countries. And you didn't see not one US flag. It was weird. I was like, where's the US flag at? Like you're in the United States.
Right.
There was people just chanting Mexico, like Mexico, Mexico. It's like Mexican flags, and then there was other people
Or that
like chanting China with the China
the
flag.
Chinese leaders showing up, the people chanting Mexican.
Yeah, it
What was
weird.
going on?
I
Why
don't
was
know. It was weird.
now I need to read an article on this. Angel just brought too little to this conversation. Enough to pique my interest, but not enough to like tell me what the fuck going on.
Exactly.
You're like my wife.
I haven't looked into it myself either. I was doing other stuff.
But you saw enough to fucking see pictures of before and after.
There was a little video. Yeah, it was like a video or two.
So you watched the video, but the video didn't explain what the fuck he was here for?
No, it was just like little clips of like what was happening at the rally or the
You're dead to me.
meeting or the parade, or whatever it was. I don't know.
What rally is it?
In San Fran, the leader of China.
So it was just a meeting, you said Biden,
Thank you.
But who was he meeting?
he was meeting the Chinese president. Biden.
Who was meeting the Chinese
Joe
president?
Biden.
Our president was, okay, the US president was there also.
So then what was the fine?
There was no US flag. It was
Exactly.
weird. Like
Because-
everywhere you look. I don't know. I didn't see any from the little videos and bits.
It's just Angel being oblivious. It's probably all over the motherfucker.
I didn't see not one. Weird to me.
It was trying to get relations between the two countries economically better.
It was China's what?
China and the US are trying to make economic ties. And they visited San Francisco because he wanted to go to the.
Interesting.
Chinatown.
Not where he wants to pick the Chinese president. All right. ANOVA. We're doing ANOVA. We're talking about the requirements. I already said one of them. Requirements, we need K different populations. With one sample from each group. Course, the sample or the populations are independent. There's no overlap between the groups. No overlap. Populations are normally distributed. If we don't know, if distribution is unknown. We need to check our good old QQ plot. And box plot. Now, the ANOVA test has an option to include this one. ANOVA includes QQ plot, but not box plot. So you got to run the box plot separately. You want to do the box plot for outliers, of course. This is all stuff we've seen before, like in chapter 4. We want it to look like a line. And the final requirement is populations need to have the same variance. Or at least approximately the same variance. And now that seems pretty hand wavy. So what we do is we don't use variance, we check standard deviations. We compare standard deviations. And this is available in the ANOVA test. I don't think it's always been in there because I used to have to go to stats, summary stats and columns and check it, but now I've seen them in there. So you want to find the largest standard deviation or group with largest sigma, and I'll call that sigma L. And we also want the group with the smallest standard deviation. And we'll call that sigma S. And what we compare, the requirements we want is the largest standard deviation needs to be less than 2 times the smallest standard deviation. Ready for examples? You finished writing,
Oh, it's okay. I'm super slow today.
okay?
It might be a really long time. Thank you.
First example. This is from our lecture notes that I have on Canvas. Page. Fucking shitty ass mouse wheel doesn't want to fucking scroll. Page 156. Now I get to scroll the other way and try to bring it. There it goes. Comes back. It's fine. So a stock analyst wonders whether the mean rate of return on stocks in the financial, energy, and utility sectors differed over the past 5 years. He samples 8 companies from each sector. And the 5-year rates of return are in the table. I'm going to show you in a second. Now maybe I'll write it down. .76 for I'll do the financials first. 15.05, 17.01, 5.07, 19.5, 8.16, 10.38, and 6.75. Next up is energy. Maybe I won't read them out because if you're trying to write them down, me saying a number while you're trying to write a different number, probably fucking you up. I don't know why I never thought about that before. I taught this class, I don't know how many times. So I'll just write down the numbers and not like. Everyone's got that friend that when they see you trying to count, they just start throwing out random numbers. You know, that total asshole friend that you just like, you can't help but love. It might be. I'm one of them. I do it. You know if you're that guy. Porn, because if I don't say the numbers, then like I'm eliminating the visually impaired students.
Well, I can actually.
That's a good point. I am broadcasting it over Zoom, so unless they're completely blind. They can see it over this, and if they're completely blind, maybe I should do like make a private like session for
I read it up a little bit, I'm sorry.
them. You're so needy.
I know.
We are going to, the question that we want to check is, are the mean rates of return different at alpha equals? And again, I said that ever. There's a new Marvel movie out, isn't there?
There's one,
How long has it been out?
a week.
Okay, so I still got a little time. They're not gonna yank it anytime soon. They're not gonna yank it before Thanksgiving. There's no way. That'd be stupid.
It's not really that popular. It's different, I heard it's coming back.
That doesn't mean I ain't gonna watch it.
You know what movie I'm actually excited for is Napoleon. Has Joaquin Phoenix in it. I'm
I have
excited.
not seen a preview for it or even heard of it.
The trailer, I thought like really got me. I was
Is
like,
it
"You know what?"
about like the real Napoleon?
Yeah, one part. It's like an epic. His life. Whole life, the military stuff that he had.
Deep.
Yeah, it looks really good. Joaquin Phoenix is a badass actor.
Did you watch the new season, or did you watch the Loki,
I've not finished season 2.
or?
I'm like part of the way through season 2. I'm not liking season 2 as much.
Oh, it makes sense, like the very last episode,
It finally like comes together.
yeah, like it's really good.
Okay.
for that series.
My wife's been making me binge watch Walking Dead. And I'm enjoying it, but like, I don't need zombies every fucking night.
Did you also watch The Nation?
I've seen the movie Z Nation. Isn't there a movie about Z Nation?
I'm not sure, I know it's like a season. Like a show.
If it's zombies, I'm sure I've fucking seen it. Alright, everyone got the table? I have these bad boys preloaded. We're gonna go stats. ANOVA, one way. We are looking at the financial, energy, and utilities sectors. And you have some options for some graphs. I'm gonna do the QQ plot of residuals with it. And it gives us this. The standard deviations are listed right here. So I'm gonna write those down. I'm gonna write down my F stat by P value real quick. So sigma financial is 5.12. Sigma energy is 4.87. Sigma utilities is 4.53. My F stat is 2.077. My P value is 0.1502. Alpha was given as 0.05. While we're here, I'm gonna check the QQ plot real quick. Those all look like they're in a pretty straight line, and that correlation statistic is really high. I should fill out the critical value table and check, but I'm feeling pretty good about that. Then we'll look at a box plot for those three groups. Make sure there's no outliers. And there are no outliers. Now I'm a little torn because like the median of utilities is not in the inside the energy box and vice versa. But the boxes do have some overlap. So I don't know if this is going to be like they're different or not. But there's no outliers, so we're good to go with our information. Let's come over here and do our hypothesis test. First off, let's verify the requirement we need to verify. That is sigma smallest, and that is sigma largest. So is 5.12 less than 2 times 4.53? 5.12, the right side is 9.06. Yes. QQ look good, box plot look good. I think we're good to go on this test. So here H naught is the mu of each group is equal. The financial mean equals the energy mean equals the utility mean. HA is at least one is different. They might all be different, but all that's required is one is different. It's worth noting, this test won't tell you which one. Which is different. After that, if you really want to know, you could do a bunch of two mean tests and figure it out. To figure it out. I have so this was step 1. Step 2, I actually have listed up here. And step 3. That's 2 and 3. Get the p-value, the test stat, and alpha. So what is step 4?
Verdict.
Verdict. How do we determine the verdict? I base it off of some mathematical and calculation. What do I check?
The standard deviations.
No.
P-value?
P-value.
Oh, I thought it would be different.
No, the verdict is the same on all of them. We're going to do this on all of them. We're checking p-value and alpha. And I have p-value looks like it's greater than alpha. So what does that mean? We what? Not reject. H naught. Not support HA. So it means there's not enough evidence. HA was this one. At least one is different. there is not enough evidence. To support the claim. That the three sectors. Had at least one different. Mean rate of return. At alpha equals 0.05.
Not for HA either.
Yeah, we're not supporting it. Say your question again,
I'm sorry, so we.
because you said
Oh, I'm
either.
sorry, okay. We do not. Reject HO.
We do not reject HO. Which we don't know that they all equal each other, but we can't reject that they might.
Okay.
They're close enough. They're close enough that the real mean rates of return, if we did like, looked at all of them, they might be the same. They're just close enough. So we're not rejecting it, so we're not supporting that one is different. This one's a little awkward as a sentence, though. There's not enough evidence to support the claim that the three sectors had at least one different mean rate of return.
I think it's good, I think my brain is just stuck on. Well, that if it's too low, we reject it, so it still makes sense, we don't, but I'm used to if we.
So many times we've said too low, but we're here, we're not too low.
If we do. But that if it's not too low, we support it. Oh, which we are. I'm so sorry.
No,
Like,
so if it's too low, we reject H naught and we support HA. It's not too low, so we're not rejecting H naught. That doesn't mean we support H naught. We never talk about supporting H naught. Because we haven't collected it, we don't have anything on it. We just know that it's still a possible answer. If we're not rejecting it, it's still a possible conclusion. Now, it may be wrong, it may be up by 1 point and maybe down by 1 point. But it's still in the region where it's possible that it's actually it. The only thing we talk about supporting is HA, whether we support HA or not. In fact, one of the homework problems has you do 3 different H naughts. And all of them end up as do not reject. And they say, does this make sense? Like the final question wrap up is, does it make sense why we don't say we support H naught? We just say we don't reject H naught. Because if we got 3 different ones and they all pass the same criteria, they can't all be right. There's only one true mean. But if all 3 of them pass the do not reject, I can't say I support each of them. I just, because we don't know which one it is. There's a lot of numbers that for H naught that will work. In the normal tests, and this one, they are all like this one's more specific. You guys ready for some more? We got one more problem we're gonna do, and then I'm gonna cut you loose. Cut you.
Look at that. That's that. Twice.
You dare question the great and powerful Oz? Who the hell do you think you are? All right, the next one is on. I don't even need to load it. I know this one. This is example 2 on the list. It's on gender and racial discrimination in car buying, car sales. So this happened back in 1991. It was in the Harvard Review or something like that. I think. I'm going off of memory of what this problem says. And they thought there was discrimination. So they gathered white males, white females, black males, black females, all with similar incomes. And attire, etc. They're made to look as much alike as possible. And then they are sent out to, and they get an initial offer on the same make and model of a car. And the dealership's profit is recorded. That's a lot. They try to make them look as much alike as possible, but like it's kind of hard to make like a black male look like a white female. I only really know of like one person that's really pulled that off, Michael Jackson. But like everybody else, like that's a rough twist. So just left that part as is. Had them all dressed nice, went in, nice paying jobs. All spoke, educated. Nothing that may would the only way you're discriminating is either by gender or race. Probably married with kids present. I don't know, maybe not. It doesn't say. I'm just making shit up now at this point. I'll show you the data table in a second. I'm not writing down all these. Fuck all that. There's a lot. It was the Harvard Law Review, not just Harvard Review, Harvard Law Review. And we want to test at alpha equals 0.05.
These people going into a dealership and buying cars, or
They're going to try to buy a car. They're going to show interest in a car, and they're going to see what the dealer offers, what price they offer initially. This is without any haggling, no negotiating yet. Like if they were actually going to buy the car, you would hopefully try to negotiate down.
The same car?
Probably
Different cars.
similar cars, but like if it's the same car, I'm imagining as each person says no to it, the dealer would be like, what's wrong with this car? Maybe I start lowering my price. So I don't think it's the same car. I just think it's similar cars. I don't even know it's the same dealership.
It's seems like that would kind of mess with the prices.
I don't know. A lot of the dealerships I see have stickers on the cars and what that price is. So back in the day, maybe didn't do that. Maybe it was just up to the car salesman to give them a price.
You've ever heard the joke of like you pay with the tags on the car? Like,
No, I have not. What the joke?
you're supposed to like bargain down, but it's like a joke where you like that's the deal, like that's the deal. It's like don't bargain down. It's like,
Okay. The only time I've not been able to bargain down was when I used the teacher's discount. And they're like, we're not going any lower, and I fucking tried to haggle for like 2 hours. And they're just like, we're not doing it, okay? My boss said, manager says they can't go even $1 lower. I think I ended up getting the car because I wanted it.
Or was it?
Shit, I think it's my wife's car, Chevy Malibu. That I'm driving, it's out in the parking lot. Don't stalk me. You think that's a joke? I've had like when it was like rain and then it was dirty afterwards. I've had "We love you, Hefe" and shit like weird messages written in the dust in the back, clearly indicating they knew whose car it was. I've had a student go, "I thought you weren't here today, I didn't see your car." Like, I generally don't announce when I'm driving. So it's a little fucking creepy. It's one of my favorite students, though. I really like her a lot. Lindsay was great. All right, so this is our list. Let's we can eyeball a little bit, see what we think. Looking at those numbers, do you think there's gonna be a discrepancy? You think they're gonna say the means are different? And if so, why?
The last very following prices are ridiculous.
The last column's got all double digits and a lot of them start with a 2. Like over 2,000 profit. That doesn't seem like a lot of profit for a car dealership on a vehicle.
But in 1991, that was about it.
Usually,
True.
interest, that's where their profit comes. Interest rates.
Okay,
So it doesn't look like much right there. That doesn't.
okay, fair enough. I'm not a car salesman, so I usually get like a bank loan and shit like that. I don't go through their dealership. I've done it before,
Dealership. 20, 30, 70 counter.
right? And then look like the column next to it, they're all under 1,000. It's only 3 digits. Now, it looks like it, looks like they hated the black females. Black males did better than black females. White females are the only group that didn't have double or 4-digit numbers. But they didn't actually have the lowest one. White males, someone got it down to, or without haggling, got 429. I don't know. I'm assuming they approached all male car salesmen. I don't know. I would think who the gender of the salesman might affect it. Like a stunning looking guy just might be like, for the right person. Like I'll say lower. And I'm gonna guess for the right person, majority of them are women, but I'm sure there's some guys out there who would be like, yeah, you're hella hot. Let's lower that price. All right, so I got these numbers, they're in StatCrunch. Let's come over here and look at them. I did want to point out something here. See this SS and this MS? That is sum of squares and mean of squares. I'll write this down on the next page a little bit. That's what we were doing when in chapter 4 with that residual line. And they had to find the distance between the line and they squared it and they added it up. They're just listing the data. So like this is how they're showing the QQ plot shit. That's how they're like doing the distances right here. And finding that red line. So let's do our test on this group. Stats, ANOVA. And we're on the genders and the races. We'll check a box plot real quick. I want to make sure that I'm good to go. I don't want any outliers. That's what we're looking for here. There's no outliers, but look at this. White female is a shitload lower than black female. So there's gotta be, oh, look at that. P-value is way less than 0.001. 61 on the test stat. That's high. In this graph, even the line is even more along the line. 0.993, holy shit, that's really high. Alright, so I'm gonna record what we got here. And then we'll go through and do the test. F stats, I'm gonna just say 61.4. Fuck it. P-value is less than 0.0001.
Can you remind us why we don't want outliers on the box plot? If there were outliers, we couldn't use them.
Because it screws up it being a normal distribution.
Okay, thank you. I want to make sure that's still.
Oh, there's something else I didn't write down. There's more we gotta do. Look at this. We gotta check the standard deviations. Fail. So I'm just gonna write down the smallest and the largest. It looks like the smallest standard deviation is the 157. I'm not gonna use decimals unless it becomes close. I'm looking right here. That's the smallest one in this group, which was the white females. Looks like black males had the highest at 241. And I rounded down on both of those. So I didn't round correctly, but I'm just doing a quick eyeball to see if they meet the criteria. And if it's close, I'll look at decimals. But as it is, usually this is good enough. We need to make sure that the largest standard deviation is less than 2 times the smallest. So I have is 241 less than 2 times 157. That's 2 times 157 is 314. And it is indeed less than it. We saw the QQ plot look good and we saw the box plot look good. If they tell us it's normally distributed, we're good to go. We don't even need to do any of that shit. But you do still want at least the variances. So H naught, the mu of white males equals the mu of white females equals the mu of black males equals the mu of black females. And HA is at least one is different. That's step 1. Step 2 is in 3 are up here. We got everything listed. What's step 4? Verdict. What do I gotta check? Is p-value greater or less than alpha? So we will check that. Is the p-value greater than or less than? It's less than, so we're going to reject H naught and support HA. Which means there's enough evidence. there is enough evidence to support the claim. Of gender and racial discrimination. In car sales. At least in 1991. At alpha equals 0.05 level of significance. Why'd you get a new hat?
They don't.
Just felt like getting a new hat.
Wanted to get one to match with the boots.
Nice.
I wore it covered, so.
I finally bought one. I asked my wife to buy it fucking like 10 years for Christmas. That bitch never bought it. Fucking trench coat. I like the trench coat looks fucking boss. So I bought one last year and then like. For my waistline, like they think I should be like fucking 8 feet tall with arms that are fucking a foot longer. So like it didn't fit. And I finally took it in to the alteration person today. She's gonna get it hemmed up and it'll be back. Apparently it takes her a fucking long time. Because it's gonna be November 30th, but I'm fucking wearing it in here before the end of the semester. Now it still comes down to like low calf for me because it's it should?
Yeah.
Trench coats are supposed to be that long? Okay.
Just the back though, not like, so your front should be coming up to around the top of the thigh. The rest of it should hang down low, and it should be split in the middle usually, but you get the ones that are all covered up, almost like a cape. Or like.
I thought it was like the same. I don't know.
I thought it was the same all the way around too.
It depends on the style, but
I don't
that's usually the ones I would look for.
So I'm getting it. She didn't buy it, I had to buy it for myself. I mean, like, I'm not easy to buy presents for because I buy what I want when I want it. And if I want something and I don't want to pay the price it is now, I don't want someone else to do it either. I'll wait for it to go on sale and then I'll, like Black Friday is my video game. It's coming up. It's coming up. I'm gonna buy more games that I don't fucking need. Because I still have games that are unopened that I still want to play. Before I cut you loose, I want to take a look at the syllabus here. I want you guys to see where we're at. November 16th is today. We were going to do this order. We've got one thing left. We're doing our final section. It's going to be 12.1 on next Tuesday. We got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are a holiday for COS. They alter every year, it alternates the COS. It's a week off or 3 days off. This is the year that it's 3 days off. So we have class on Tuesday, but after that, you have Wednesdays off. So if you have Wednesday classes, don't go to them. If you show up to Tuesday, I know some people like to get started on Thanksgiving early. If you don't show up, it'll be on video. I mean, but that's our last day of lecture. When we get back from Thanksgiving, the entire time period is to work with your team on those projects before they're due. So like time to get me, ask questions of me, like help me or get me to help you fine tune what you're doing. That Thursday we'll do a review for the final. So you still have more time to work on the projects. We'll do the presentations the following Tuesday. We're like 2.5 weeks left of class. That's what we're looking at. Tuesday is the last lecture. One section. And then I'm bringing M&Ms. So you can like go to family early if you want, but you're missing my M&Ms. And that you're free to work on your project. You're free to GTFO. This lecture is concluded.
David, can you go back into the previous lecture? I need to get the rest of this.